Welcome to a Diamond's Minute, where clarity meets purpose and truth cuts through the noise. This is your moment to reset, refocus, and be reminded of who you are and what you carry. I am so glad you're here. Now let's get into it. Today's topic: keep your head on a swivel. Marlon illustrated this in a sermon, and it fits perfectly here. He placed a person in the middle of a circle surrounded by others. Those surrounding the person represented the Holy Spirit. As long as the individual remained in the center of that circle, they were safe. Then suddenly, out of nowhere, another figure appeared and began speaking to the person in the middle. This figure represented the devil. At first, it was just conversation. Then, before long, the person began engaging, playing patty cake with the devil. What started as harmless interaction turned into subtle movement. Shift by shift, inch by inch, the person who once stood firmly in place drifted outside of the circle. And the moment they stepped outside of that covering, the enemy seized them. Distractions. Satan constantly uses distractions, goods. And here's the deception: the distraction isn't always sin. That's what makes it so dangerous. When consequences aren't immediately felt, that's when distractions do their deepest damage. Discomfort can drive away foolishness because it's painful and it diverts you from error. But distractions, they are often comfortable, enjoyable, and even pleasurable. That's why they're so effective. All the while, Satan is slowly draining the life out of you, and you don't even realize it. Paul talked about not letting Satan gain the advantage over us, but many people don't fully grasp what that means. So let me give you an example. If I offered you $700,000 out of $1 million jackpot, that sounds like a great deal, right? You'd feel like you came out on top. You got the advantage. But what if the entire million was already yours and you just didn't know it? What if a thief took part of it before you ever realized what you had? Who really then had the advantage? If 100% belonged to you, but you walked away with only 70%, the thief gained the advantage because you essentially paid a thief for your own money. That's what happens when you're ignorant of what's on the table. When you don't know what's yours, the thief will always have the advantage. Paul makes it clear we are not ignorant of his devices. In other words, we are not unaware of his tricks, his deceptions, and his lies. And distractions, they fall right into that category: tricks, deception, and lies. So keep your head on a swivel. You've heard that phrase before. It means to stay alert, vigilant, constantly aware, scanning your environment for threats, dangers, and subtle shifts that could pull you off course. 1 Peter 5:8 says, be well balanced, temperate, sober of mind, be vigilant and cautious at all times. For that enemy of yours, the devil, roams around like a roaring lion in fierce hunger, seeking someone to seize upon and devour. Paul continues to warn us in Hebrews 12:2. He says, looking away from all that will distract to Jesus, who is the leader and the source of our faith, giving the first incentive for our belief, and is also its finisher, bringing it to maturity and perfection. The enemy will use anything to distract you. He'll curse, he'll scream, he'll offer money, present opportunities, call what you're doing ministry, have you doing good things without God's permission. He'll have you loaning money, buying houses, chasing experiences, traveling nonstop, skip here, skip there, until your prayer life becomes occasional and then non existent. Catch it online, he'll say. You need time to yourself. It's all a distraction, and it's all designed to pull you into excess, where anything that takes and begins to take priority over God becomes a tool the enemy uses to rob you slowly. That's what sifting is. It's a slow, intentional process. It is a constant shaking, but little by little, until there's nothing left. The Bible speaks to this in Luke 22 and 31. The enemy desires to sift you as wheat. That means he's not always coming for you all at once. He's working in layers, gradually, strategically. My brother shared a story about when they were kids. There was a bigger friend who would pin him and my little brother up against the wall until they would pass out. When they came to, they would laugh and beg him to do it again. To them, it was fun, harmless, just playing around. But here's the difference. That friend loved them. The devil doesn't love you. He is dangerous, and his purpose is clear: to steal, kill, and destroy. He wants to pin your life against the wall over and over again until you are drained, depleted, and destroyed, never reaching your full potential. He's not playing. That's why keeping your head on a swivel through prayer, the word, and fasting isn't optional, it's necessary. Listen, as a matter of fact, it may be one of the most important disciplines you ever develop. I'll say it again. Be well balanced, temperate, sober of mind, be vigilant and cautious at all times. For that enemy of yours, the devil, roams around like a lion, roaring in fierce hunger, seeking someone to seize upon and devour. Keep your head on a swivel. Thank you for spending this Diamonds Minute with me. Remember, your value is not up for negotiation and your purpose is not optional. Walk in it, live it, and don't shrink back. And don't forget, leave a comment, share this with someone who needs it, and like the episode. I'll see you next time.